eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is in polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Good evening, Goyim. How are we all? It's been a wild couple of days. It's been a very anti-Semitic couple of days, that's for sure. Wow. I apologize. I wasn't live yesterday when I said I would be. Honestly, because it just, like, if I'm being honest, it's a combination of things, but like information overload. And I also am just like kind of struggling myself mentally, not like I'm depressed or anything, but like I got my back tattooed last week, which means I can't go to the gym. And that is like that's like my thing that I need to control my brain. And I also don't have medication here. You guys know that. So there's a fucking ant on my microphone again. So the last couple of days has just been like, and also because, like, you know, I'm a sensitive person. Like, I care, I feel when I see these things come out, like they weigh on me. So I think it's just been like a matter of processing that kind of stuff as well. And I've been just kind of wrestling with how I'm going to like talk about this, because obviously people are messaging me, asking me like, you know, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about it? We want to hear your opinion, etc., which is fair enough. I want to give it to you. But I think with something like this, I wanted to give you a measured, like I wanted to just get it off my chest, right? I wanted to get exactly how I feel off my chest. And that's not what this live stream is going to be, by the way. So I basically spent today recording a video, probably going to be a long video, probably about an hour. And it's like an old school Polarity kitchen cook up, you know what I mean? Where we're sort of weaving it all together and throwing it all together. And it is just stuff that I've been sitting on, been looking into, thinking about, reading about for the last pretty much 6 months, like pretty much since let me put that up there. Since the last video that I did. No, not the last video, sorry. But the big viral video that I did, the Billy Corgan one. And the world is a vampire. The world is a vampire, right? And in that video, it started obviously looking into like Billy Corgan's crazy reptilian shapeshifter theory. And just from pulling on the threads that I found and continued digging on, the video ended in Jewish cults and dark occult mysticism. Okay, that's just from like following the leads. I didn't plan it that way. That's just what happened. And you know, that's where that video ended. And I was very hesitant, as I said at the start of that video, to post that. And but that was really just like the tip of the spear with like what I've seen and what I've found and what I think. So, and it's been something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while and kind of been biting my tongue, because like there's already enough conflict in the world, you know what I mean? Like it's a tough thing to talk about. It is, especially when you care, right? And when you know that it's going to upset people, but that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it because you can sort of like identify an issue. So with what came out in the Epstein files, which is basically just confirming everything that I was thinking, that we all have been noticing, and that we all can kind of that people have been whistleblowing about for decades, right? It basically just confirmed it, and more and more. So today I basically just had to get that off my chest and put that in a video. And I did that. So that'll be coming out. I'm not going to say when, because you know what I'm like, but hopefully in the next few days. I decided I wouldn't edit it today because because it is like so heavy, and you know, and like I said, I'm an emotional person. So when I talk about these things, I can sometimes get a little carried up, get a little wound up, because I'm just speaking with my heart on my sleeve, right? I'm just saying it exactly how I feel. And I think it's a good idea to sleep on that and edit it tomorrow. Raise your volume a bit, please. Okay, I got you. I think I did actually play with that a little bit today. Let me give you guys some gain. How's that? A little bit better? A little bit better? So, yeah, I decided to sleep on it. We'll edit it tomorrow. I don't know. I might make some changes. We'll see. But it is pretty heavy, but it is just honest. It's just me being honest. And I'm like, all this channel is really is just me like investigating and showing you guys what I find. And I don't want anyone to even necessarily believe what I think. I'm just pointing out what I think and what I can see. And that changes over time, right? Like I've always said, go back to the first few videos on this channel. It's very different, but the core thread that runs through everything is like investigating what the hell is going on, because I think we all collectively agree that it's a very strange place that we live in. And, you know, when you really look at history and sort of the things that I'll go into a bit more deeply in the next video, you know, there is like a theory there that explains the past that also connects and aligns the present, what we're experiencing right now and what we've been experiencing for the last decade or so. And it also feels like an accurate theory that represents where it looks like we're heading in the future. So it connects all three, right? And I find that interesting because we all sit here generally, before we really go down the rabbit hole, we all kind of sit and we all, you know, collectively agree like, man, the world's a weird place. What the hell is going on? Why are we always at war? Why are people always killing each other? Why can't the world leaders figure it out? Well, this is a theory that actually, it gives you an answer, right? And it's not a nice answer. It's very dark, but it's a theory that actually makes sense. And I haven't heard many others that do. And please, if someone can give me one that does, that seems more accurate, that isn't as grim and dark, I would love to hear it, because it's not the world I want to live in, but I'm just calling it as I see it. And that's what I'll always do. Rambro, brother, thanks for being here, my man. He's gifted a membership. Let's get some love in the chat for Rambro. S-Jack, thank you very much for the $15 and the sticker. I appreciate you. Sailor Boy Troy says, Ancestry says 6% Ashkenazi. Am I chosen or just a dirty mixed breed goy? Lol, love you all. I think you're 6% chosen, bro. I think you're 6% chosen. And maybe have a 6% higher IQ than the rest of us as well. SS Tone says the music industry is open occultism. They're mocking us. Yeah, I sort of touched on that in the video tomorrow as well. It's rife. Entertainment as a whole is rife with it. And, you know, I've always been, the one thing that I've always been really kind of, not sus on, but like, you know, with all the conspiracies out there, the one thing that I've always been a bit hesitant to like fully buy into is the idea that like they put symbols everywhere, like in the Disney movies, that there are like dicks in the clouds and all this kind of shit. And like that probably is a extreme example. But the more you look into this stuff, the more you see, oh my gosh, Aki, the more you see it and the more it feels real, because it's like, okay, how many times is this going to occur in so many places until it kind of seems like it's actually happening? And it is hard to digest. It really is. Even for a conspiracy theorist. And I say that in the video too, like it's hard to digest for me as well. Emily Turner, you little freak, Emily. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Welcome. Stevie, nice to see you, bro. He says the title is based as fuck, bro. Have a good stream. Thank you very much, man. Nice to see you. Brickfoot Music J says empaths are going to really struggle. Lots of self-care. Yeah. Yep. Look, I've never been someone that's like been like, I'm an empath, but I am a sensitive person. So I don't know if that makes me an empath, but like, and I think it's just multiple things at once that are hitting me right now where I just feel like I'm struggling. And I think the weight of what is in this stuff is definitely part of that. Like, I feel like it's crazy to be able to go down these rabbit holes and be like, oh, it doesn't affect me. Like, bro, of course it affects you. How could it not? How could, like, if you actually believe what's in it, and I do, unfortunately. I wish I didn't, in a way. Like, I almost envy people who are ignorant, to be honest, because they do just live easier lives. But I feel like I actually just saw a quote. I wonder if I can pull it up. It was something, I think, I don't know. It was like, some people are born to obey and others are cursed to see. And I really do feel that it's a blessing and a curse. And I don't know if I would take it back or not. I don't think I would, but I don't know. Maybe we're here. Maybe the people that are cursed to see are here for a reason. We're meant to talk about it. I don't know. Achy balls, brother. That's a huge one, man. Thank you very much. $100. And when people drop super chats like that, like, I always feel so silly just saying like thank you, because it just doesn't really do it justice, man. But thank you so much. It's like actually crazy support for me right now while I'm overseas. So I appreciate it more than you can imagine, man. Thank you very much. Chance Green Music says slow news week. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Not much to talk about at all. At all. It's been a boring one. Flyway Forever says try having the royals in your DNA. Ooh, you might be part lizard, bro. And Prison Mike is gifted a membership as well. Prison Mike, legend. Let's get some love in the chat for Aki, Prison Mike, and everyone showing some love. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get some Goy love in the chat. And slap a like on the video if you're proud to be Goy, by the way. Taris gifted 10 memberships. Taris, love you, bro. Always supporting. Thank you very much. Really appreciate all the support, guys. I really do. Okay, let's catch up on a few of you guys here. My wife is struggling with this for sure. She's starting to see what I've been trying to tell her for a long time, but it's not easy. Yeah, I said that the other day. That I feel like we are entering, this is before the files dropped, that we are entering a time where all the people who know that you've been talking about this kind of stuff, maybe they've seen you post on social media, maybe you've tried to tell them at a function or whatever, and they've kind of been like, okay, yeah, okay. Weird guy, thinks the fucking world's ran by Satanist pedophiles, weirdo. Those people will remember that conversation, and they're probably going to start reappearing in your life. And you're going to have to, nurture them. You're going to have to nurture them, even though you're probably just trying to nurture yourself right now. I feel that. I really do. Ra Clark says ignorance is bliss. Yeah, it really is. It really is. But I don't know. Ignorance is bliss, and it's pure Goyim behavior. Let's be real. Based on these Epstein files, ignorance is the designed behavior for the Goyim. That's what based in these Epstein files they want. They want people to be ignorant, because they want you to think that it's left versus right. Because while the Goyim are busy killing each other over giving kids puberty blockers and retarded shit like that, the other people in the world, the minority, are running the show, and are left alone, are completely left alone because we're busy killing each other over retarded shit. And so, look, I don't want to talk too much about the things that I talk about in the video, but this stream was really just kind of like an icebreaker into that, because I do feel like that video is like, it's kind of heavy, obviously. And I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about it all first. And, I've got a beer, right? Because I feel like I need one tonight. I don't drink them often, but need one. I just wanted to kind of break the ice with it all with you guys and clear the air, have a laugh about it as we do. Because if you don't laugh, you probably cry. You might actually do both. But I do feel like the laughter helps. It definitely does. All the NPCs who witnessed that disgusting shit, unbelievable. We can only see till the next curtain. Interesting. Ominous, Johnny. Ominous. I was reading something that they're going to reclose these files because all the victims' names were released. I don't know if it's out there now. Once you put something like that on the internet, it's out there. It is out there. Rambo says it unfortunately will always affect those who feel the energy of others. You are connected to the mainframe, bro. We love feeling the good, but unfortunately that means we will feel the negative too. I don't want to say it, but that's the polarity. I always feel cheesy saying the name, but it does come up often, right? Like that is just the law of life. You can't have the good without the bad. And it's very bad right now. It's very, very bad right now. But I heard someone say, they used an analogy the other day that was like, this is like the bending of the knees before the jump, and you have to go down before you propel up. So whilst it feels like we are just stooping right now, like everything in life, like a vibration, right? Like everything, what goes up must come down. It's like this. It's like this. And right now we are we're nosediving, baby. We are nosediving into the rocky surface, but we are going to propel out of that shit like a phoenix from the ashes. You know what I'm saying? I really do believe that, but I do think it's going to be rough as fuck for a while. I really do think that, but hopefully in our lifetime, we'll get to experience the good part. But I also think that won't happen unless we talk about it, unless we kind of like desensitize ourselves to the things that are uncomfortable. Because I think a lot of people have, I feel like there's people out there who have maybe like heard about this shit and were probably like, oh, that's so fucked up. I don't want to hear more about it. I don't know what I can do. I'm just one person. And we kind of just like maybe subconsciously believe it, but we like pigeonhole it away because it's just like so fucked up, right? Which is, in a way understandable. But I feel like we have to kind of rip the Band-Aid off now because society is so fucked that it's like if we don't make some kind of change, then I don't know what's going to happen, bro, but it's just not going to be good. It's not going to be good. 420 Breezy, we as Americans ain't mad enough. Well, I don't know. I mean, do I want you to be mad? I mean, you probably should be a little bit mad. You probably should be a little bit mad. Yeah, you probably should. But I guess it's what you do with that anger is the key. Jodua says, here's some coin for a massage and a tuggy. You sound stressed. Thank you very much, bro. That might get me half a massage, but and a tuggy. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it. All right, let's clear this off and let's actually jump into the show because we could sit here all day, which would probably be fun. To be honest, would probably be fun. But let's so what I did for the show is I basically just bookmarked a whole bunch of shit on X that seemed relevant and that we could just kind of we can kind of trawl through it together. I thought we'd start with this though, which isn't relevant to the Epstein files, but maybe just while people are still filing in, if they are, we could listen to a quick clip about the moon. This is obviously AJ Gentile. So relevantly named, by the way, AJ Gentile, King of the Goys, is on Tucker Carlson talking about the moon. And this is a short clip, so we'll watch this one, and then pretty much everything else, we're getting balls deep into the darkest shit in the world. So let me just make sure you guys can see it all good. All right. Here we go.
Do you think we landed on the moon?
I have a lot of thoughts on it that I never get into. I mean,
You squirmed the way I do and asked.
I mean, I went down this once because it's my job, right? And I found it really distressing, so I just kind of gave up. But I did, I talk, you never know who's telling you the truth about anything, right? But I talk to people, I sort of do trust. Like, no, it's not. But then I thought, whatever. I don't. There are a lot. I spend my life looking into things and trying to figure out what's real and what's not. And I do think in midlife you realize, having done this for so many years, that like some things you're not going to know.
Right.
And I think you can go crazy because I've pushed to the edge of it myself, trying to figure out what's right, what's true, what actually happened, what reality is.
It'll do that to you. It'll absolutely do that to you. Sometimes I think, like, am I going crazy? But then I'm like, no. It's the goy who are wrong.
But I think it's unattainable on certain stories. This may be one of them. I will say, we accidentally taped over the original footage because we ran out of Betamax.
Yeah.
Oops.
And the schematic drawings of the spacecraft are like missing and all this. It's like,
I wonder who accidentally taped over the moon landing. The only one copy, by the way. They just had the whole moon landing on one VHS and someone accidentally recorded King of the Hill over it. Like, what the fuck? Please.
Telemetry data is gone.
yeah, telemetry data is gone. It's
they
like,
can't-
stop.
They can't replicate the technology.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So that would, I'll say this, if it was faked,
Yep.
of course can't prove that. then it's just one more instance of the U.S. government having to backfill, a 57-year-old lie. And it's done that a lot. It certainly did it with the murder of John F. Kennedy. And it's just, you tell a lie and it just kind of doesn't go away because you have to continually make up new lies in order to cover, the lie, the original lie. So you'd hate to think that's real.
That's the struggle with the moon landing question, I think, because
Right.
it wasn't a guy.
Just lies upon lies. Once you lie once, it doesn't go away ever. Either it'll come out or you will have to build a mountain of lies upon it.
Such a question, because when I'm asked that all the time and I do the same thing, I kind of go, A, I wish you didn't ask me that. B, I'm not sure. I think we did. I think something was found up there, which is why we didn't go back. And for me, it all hinges on Edgar Mitchell because I trust and believe him. And if he says he walked on the moon, then I believe him. But I think something was found up there that maybe the government didn't want us to find. Do you think?
What do you think they found up there? Imagine if it was like the Jewish Epstein headquarters, and they've been up there on the moon beaming GOI lasers at us to control us. I mean, at this point, if that's what was in the next drop of the Epstein files, I wouldn't be surprised. If there was space Jews controlling us with moon lasers. Kyle Odom told us all. So in the video that I recorded today, I kind of touched on how it kind of carries on from that last video where we went from shapeshifters into, Jewish cults and dark occult mysticism. And this video is more just about like Jeffrey Epstein and Jewish cults and child sacrifice and all this kind of shit. But I do actually have content. Like the video is going to be like an hour, but I could have done another hour on the shapeshifter side of it because I do find that fascinating. And I say this in the video, but I think shapeshifting is just the word discredits the phenomenon, I think, because I think we are limited by our English language, which is, as Dr. Armin Hillman would tell you, pathetic compared to Sweet Mother Greek, of course. We are limited by our language, and people are just plucking a word that best fits this like completely paranormal experience that they're having that isn't really an accurate representation, but it's like the best thing that they can think of because it's a phenomenon that is happening to like multiple people. Right? Multiple people are saying that they've seen someone's eyes change and their face go weird. So I do want to do like a whole hour on that, but I thought I would save that for another video because I thought we'd just try and just stick to the facts in the next video. What else we got here? Epstein recruits physicists to debunk aliens, ghosts, and out-of-body claims. Epstein emailed theoretical physicist Lawrence Krauss in 2018, pressing him to write an article dismantling widespread beliefs in alien abductions, out-of-body experiences, and ghost stories. Now, why would the Jews want to do that? Why would Jeffrey Epstein want people to... Why would he want to dismantle widespread belief in alien abductions? I mean... I don't want to say that, well, what's happening with these kids, right? They're getting abducted. They're getting their minds completely minced. Is that what an alien abduction actually is? Is it someone's mind being minced, being led to believe that they're having some kind of alien encounter? I mean, do you guys know that like with, Michael Herrera, Jonathan Weygant, and there's another one. But people, whistleblowers who have had these experiences are all like forcibly given an anthrax booster, okay? An anthrax booster. What the fuck is that? And what does that do? Like, what if that anthrax booster is actually just like the scrambler? Like, oh shit, Michael saw something he shouldn't. Scramble. Now you're just going to think it was like an alien or like a spooky UFO. Like, no, actually, you saw Jeffrey Epstein and his comrades scooping up Goy to take them to the cattle farm. I don't know, man. Let's see what this says. Lawrence, can you guys see this okay? I can make it a little bit bigger. Lawrence, can you pen an article on how to debunk claims? Equals C2. What is that? Alien abductions, for example, equals C2. Many people share similar stories. Ghosts equals C2. What is that? Is that like an emote? Is this an emoji that he's writing, or what the fuck is equal C2? Out-of-body experiences. I'd like it to include some of the criticisms that have been brought, i.e., 10 equal AO. What are these weird symbols? 10 years of similar stories, etc. Just give it time. It will not have your name attached to it at all. This is one thing I've actually noticed with this stuff, right? And I don't know if this is just like boomers fumbling with a phone, but there is like pretty poor grammar. Like very poor grammar and typos. And like, look, I'm not the best either. I make a lot of typos too, but it's not how I would expect billionaires, intelligent billionaires, by the way, to type. And like, let's be real. I mean, to be running something like this, you clearly have to be smart, first of all. And secondly, I don't know if you guys saw like the interview that came out of Jeffrey Epstein, but he's clearly an intelligent guy. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's an intelligent guy. What else we got? Okay. Wait, this might have music.
Evolutionary biologist who
Okay, no, it doesn't. All right. Two Jewish men, Epstein and Robert Trivers, American revolutionary biologists, conspire to feminize our men in the West and give 3-year-old hormones to transition. Then gender ideology washed through the West. Transgenderism was created in Germany by the Jews. They butchered people attempting sex changes, killing patients, and pushed gender ideology. Then Hitler shut it all down, burnt the books, and they fled to America, where it spread once again. Epstein files. Okay, here we go.
Hey, excuse me, why are we not talking about this? Do you know who this is? His name is Robert Trivers. He is a world-famous American evolutionary biologist who specializes in human evolution. And he sent an email to Jeffrey Epstein in 2018 talking about transgenderism. I blurred out the words that could get taken down by social media, but this is from Robert Trivers to Jeffrey Epstein in 2018. The bottom says, by the way, we're now pushing intervention earlier so that you notice your 3-year-old son has T tendencies. Now you intervene with hormones. And here's the worst part, I would be frightened to do that. But who knows? Why would he do this? To produce more novel phenotypes like feminine men by blocking testosterone receptors or castrating them. He then goes out to list some of his concerns, one being that T women can actually pay for the injections, which are costly, because what they can do is they can sell themselves sexually to people who desire them. However, the T men don't have the same luxury because, as he stated in his email, if you want a big sweaty man, then you want the genitalia that comes with it. I just want to go over this one more time just in case anyone missed it. We'll push intervention earlier so that you notice your 3-year-old has T tendencies and intervene with hormones sooner. I would be frightened to do so, but who knows? This person is just out and about in the world. He's a world-renowned biologist, and he's saying that. Hey.
They're trying to feminize men. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that? Can't say I've really noticed much of that happening in society. Taris says, Josh, do not turn the world's turmoil into a prison for your mind. See suffering without hatred. Keep compassion without drowning. And let your next right action be your refuge. Thank you, bro. Kind words. I appreciate you as always. And I'm doing my best, bro. I am doing my best. I do like to think I'm generally a pretty grounded person. And that is why I actually didn't report on this at all. For it's almost been 2 days now since this stuff has come out. And I said I would do a stream too, but it honestly just felt like too much in the moment. I just wanted the dust to settle a little bit, give myself time to just process it, think about how I feel, think about how I want to talk about it. So I have taken time, but there's no doubt about it that it definitely weighs on you for sure. Rusty says, keep your sunglasses on, guys. The future is bright. Thank you very much, Rusty, for the 7 months, bro, and the positivity. We love that. Thank you, man. Stevie says, Polarity is my favorite hobby. Love it here. I love having you here too, brother. Thank you very much for all of your support, man. It's been a while. Flyway Forever says, well, the Rothschilds supposedly had breeding rights with the royals. I did see that. I did see something about that. It may even be in these bookmarks here. And Sailor Boy Troy says, Ghislaine was actively looking for Atlantis pre-arrest, all tied to everything, quantum, eugenics, fallen angel stuff. This amount of evil proves God. Well, if there's a polarity, it kind of has to, because this is so far down in hell that there must be a heaven. I do think that. And I think I've got it in the bookmarks here. There is a lot, by the way. Like, I don't even know if we'll get through them. But there is something about Ghislaine. Ghislaine sent the link. Ghislaine sent the link of a news story of Virginia Giuffre speaking out about Jeffrey Epstein, and all she wrote in the link was like the name of her non-for-profit ocean exploration organization. That's all it said with that article. So it's like, and for anyone who doesn't know, she was a submarine pilot. Are they pilots? I'm going to call it a driver. I don't know. She was a pilot, whatever. So it's like, what were you doing in those submarines, bro? You submarining children around? Victims? Do you have undersea bases? Is that what these UAPs coming out of the ocean are? Because I'll be real. I think all of this stuff is connected. I don't know how. I don't know at what level. But like, it kind of makes sense, right? If there is an elite ring of society that is able to rule over us and operate trafficking networks under our noses, they're not only clearly like, you know, more intelligent than us on like a general scale, right? But they must know things. Like, they must know things about the world and reality that we don't. So is it really much of a stretch to think that they actually have knowledge of like what we would consider to be otherworldly technologies, right? And, you know, let's not forget, Trump's uncle took all of Tesla's work, which was all about extracting free energy from the ether, plasma. All of this stuff was like early 1900s and then just silent in a vacuum. I don't think it's actually out of the realm of possibility to think that all of this shit is connected. And like I've said many times, this is the Hunger Games. And we think we all live in like one happy society, but actually it is so fractured beyond what we realize that there is probably levels and rings beyond and below. It's definitely below. We know that. We know that there are uncontacted Amazonian tribes. We saw them just the other day on the Lex Friedman podcast. There are still to this day uncontacted Amazonian tribes that if you go near them, they will approach you with a bow and arrow in a loincloth and be like, what the fuck is this white alien doing on my beach? Right? That's the thing. So are we ignorant and arrogant enough to say, well, surely there's no one more technologically superior above us, even though there are these things flying around in the sky that we can't explain. And when we press our government to investigate it, they seem disinterested. That's crazy. Kind of crazy to be apparently disinterested in something that's displaying a new technology, a technology that could potentially propel us, the Goyim, to a new height. You're not interested in that? That's crazy. Why would that be? Oh, because it's yours. It's yours. What other reason is there to not be interested in that? Because you know what it is and you're already using it. Ra Clark says atrazine used in many major broad acre food crops across the world. Yep, they're turning the frogs gay, my friend, and us. Heather, Epstein files. This is huge. The individual who anonymously posted on... Okay, this is actually wild. I've read this one. The individual who anonymously posted on 4chan the morning of Epstein's death, August 10th, 2019, claiming he witnessed weird happenings at the prison before Epstein's death, has been identified in the Epstein files. But wait, it gets crazier. Robert Grijalva, I don't know, an officer of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, has been identified as the anonymous prison employee who posted on 4chan claiming that Epstein left his cell Friday evening, shackled in a medical wheelchair, while at the same time an unauthorized trip van arrived at the prison, which he believes took Epstein away the night before the news broke of his death. Epstein didn't Epstein himself. The day after Epstein's death, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman of SDNY opened a grand jury proceeding and subpoenaed 4chan, Apple, AT&T, and Citibank for records aiming to uncover Grijalva's identity following the anonymous 4chan post. Grijalva's name is not redacted on his bank records included in the SDNY subpoena response from Citibank for his 4chan post, and ties to the same prison officer, Robert Grijalva, whose statements were released as part of the prison's investigation into Epstein's death. This is huge. We now have a validation that the 4chan post from the 8th of the 10th, 2019 is a legitimate eyewitness account from an MCC prison officer that Epstein may have been switched out before the news broke of his alleged super slide. Thank you very much, 420 Breezy. So this, I think, is the original. This is the original 4chan post. Gotta love 4chan. Not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night, after 4:15 in the morning, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing, the trip van did not sign in and we did not record the plate number, and a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I am shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. I reckon he's probably living in on his island or in one of his many ranches, or in Israel. The most likely option. Okay, we'll read through this. I'm going to condense the entire Epstein files for everyone. Those really in control are a satanic pedo cult. Their ultimate job is to usher in the Antichrist. That's it. This is the entire reason they do what they do. Those in power are playing their part to achieve that single goal of those really running the world, and they've been compromised because they participate in all sorts of depraved acts, which those really in power know about and hold over them. This forms a vicious cycle where those really in power can get them to do whatever needs to be done in order to advance the Antichrist agenda. Apart from this, many of those in power are worshippers of Satan themselves. Jesus Christ is the true Messiah. This is why this satanic cult does whatever they can to destroy Christianity. It's a literal explanation as to why Western society and every society is being purposely collapsed. This is all about good versus evil. This is all about the age-old battle that started in the Garden of Eden, which will lead to the mark of the beast and the rise of the Antichrist before Jesus comes again. It really, seriously is that simple. There you go. That's the whole Epstein files condensed. And, you know, for the most part, I agree with it. I do agree with it. And the whole thing about, you know, their ultimate job is to usher in the Antichrist. Like, that's not even a secret. I think I've played the clips on this channel of like the, oh God, I forgot his name. He's that there's that clip of this rabbi, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, talking to Benjamin Netanyahu in like 1995. And the rabbi is going like, the Messiah is not back yet. Like, what are we going to do? And we need to hurry it up. Like, we need to make him come back. And Netanyahu's going like, yeah, no, I know. Like, we're trying, or something like that. And how do they believe you bring the return of the Messiah? They believe the Messiah will return once the whole world turns against Israel, and that when they are on the brink of defeat, the Messiah will come back and save Israel and propel the world into a realm of Pax Judaica, essentially. Yes, you guys saw that? Okay, I did show that clip. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, got a bit of Fuentes here. Let me just what's he saying? He can say some crazy things. A lot has been said about Nick Fuentes over his take on Epstein and the files. Here's his actual take in his own words. Okay, we'll just let Nick say it. I think it's a 9-minute clip. We might not watch all of it. We'll see what he's saying.
They're going to try and make it a partisan thing. This is about everybody that was involved in this. We need to know, because we need to know who's compromised. Are these emails with Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein real? Because if they
I think I can't help but think this too, right? Like, I absolutely do believe that there is a child trafficking, like pedophilic network in society. I 100% agree. I agree with all of it. But I do, but like, again, like the inconsistencies in like some of the spelling, the formatting of the emails, I do wonder, like, is this all real? Is some of it real? Some of it isn't. Why would they do that? I don't know. But I do have those thoughts.
If they are, then that means that Jeffrey Epstein had extraordinary blackmail leverage over Bill Gates, one of the richest people in the world. That would be a big problem.
It would.
And if Epstein had a similar relationship with Howard Lutnick or Donald Trump or Bill Clinton, that's a big problem. Because that would also seem to suggest that these people are compromised. By who? For what purpose? So again, and this is the most important thing, and I said this a couple weeks ago, everyone said it was controversial. Trump is not a pedo protector per se. That's not what this is. To the extent that there was pedophilia or underage sexual abuse, not justifying it, that was only in the furtherance of another crime. You understand the difference? That was in the furtherance of another crime. It's not like they were running a pedophilia ring because they just really wanted to get their rocks off and Jeffrey Epstein was a pimp. That's not what happened here. Jeffrey Epstein was pimping girls out to blackmail his clients.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think that's, I mean, I guess I haven't said that really, but I assume that we all know that, right? Like, we all realize this is a blackmail operation by Israel. Like, that's assumed knowledge on my behalf, but I guess I haven't actually said it. Like, it's blackmail. It's not just like these people are weird pedos. Like, yes, they are, but it's being used to subvert the United States of America and Australia, by the way. I feel like, whenever we talk about this stuff, it's just very America centric because, that is the biggest country and where a lot of this happens. But trust me, my country is right there behind you guys being completely blackmailed. And I show that in the video that's going to be coming out soon. This is worldwide. I've done 90 seconds of Fuentes. I think I'll quit while I'm ahead because you never know what that man's going to say next. Let's keep going. Scott Wee says 5 trillion is earmarked for Israel, Syria, and Iran. Thank you, bro. Prison Mike says if they can sneak things into prison, they can be taken out. I'm not familiar with the federal prison. Probably happens everywhere. Thanks, Jash. Yeah, interesting take, bro, and thank you. Nurse L, nice to see you, L. She says, oh, snap, it's been a minute since I caught a live. Love the whole weirdo tribe. Stay plugged, y'all. Thank you very much, L. Appreciate you. Nice to see you as well. Brandon Barker, celebrating 7 months. Thank you very much, Brandon. He says, some of the emails talk about the megalithic ruins of the West. Sorry, I was just tripping out on what that was. Some of the emails talk about the megalithic ruins off the west coast of Cuba. Ghislaine was obsessed with them. That's why she had the submarine. There you go. There you go. I don't think I've seen those ones yet, but maybe we'll come across them soon. And Ryan D says, you've been right the entire time. As always, great show. Thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate you. Okay, we don't have time to watch an hour-long video about Pizzagate, but we do have a shorter one on Pizzagate. Very short clip here. It's been doing the rounds. You guys have probably seen it. We'll play it anyway, but it's this is a model from Mexico. This clip is from 2009. And she fled from one of Epstein's parties screaming they were eating people. And no one has seen the 21-year-old Gabriela Rico Jimenez since then. And, when this came out, I'm sure everyone just thought she was crazy. Not much really context to add to that because it's just like, it's sad because it's like another one pouring her heart out, stressed, that probably no one listened to. And just going through seeing it, going through the experience, has got to be like horrifying and traumatic enough as it is. Imagine being out on the street screaming it, and everyone's just looking at you with that fluoride stare, like, "Are you all right? Do you need to go to a hospital?" Everyone thinks like you're crazy, like you're the problem, and yeah, never seen again. It's sad. It's sad. Okay, what do we got here? Candace Owens talking about the Tomb of Gilgamesh and Hillary Clinton's pursuit of it. Okay, yeah, Rothschilds, Baal worship, AI. Okay, you son of a bitch, I'm in. What do you have to say, Candace?
Do you guys ever wonder why Hillary Clinton in those WikiLeaks emails was asking a few days before we invaded Iraq? She was trying to locate Gilgamesh's tomb. I don't know if you guys read the Epic of Gilgamesh. I certainly did when I was at university. Effectively, it has been long suspected that Gilgamesh was actually Nimrod in the Bible, okay? So think of the Tower of Babel. We can build society. We're greater than God. Why would Hillary Clinton be looking for that tomb in Iraq? That's what Gilgamesh is featured in Iraq, present-day Iraq. Yeah, okay, so you gotta wake up, guys. It's all real. They made you think that this was hocus pocus. It's not. They are practicing ancient witchcraft. Who knows what they were going to attempt to do with that. But a lot of our activities in the Middle East have nothing to do with a war on terror. In fact, we kind of are the terrorists.
Yep. I've said that on the channel quite a few times. Part of waking up is realizing that we might be the bad guy. I think we are. Well, not us. None of us are. But we were born into the countries that profess to be the good guy, yet seem to be all over the world delivering freedom and democracy to other countries who never actually asked for it. They never asked for it. We just decided they needed it. So, like, imagine if someone did that to us. Imagine if someone just came into our country and decided that the way our country was ran, whether it be complete shithole or not, it's irrelevant. It's not your country. But they have decided that they have a better way that you can do it. So here they are kidnapping your president, and now you're going to do it our way. I think we might be the bad guy.
For being honest, and what the CIA has been up to, we kind of are the terrorists. That's how you kill 1 million Iraqis, by just lying and saying they're weapons of mass destruction. No, they just mass murdered people, but they are also destroying ancient sites. The reason for that is because you cannot, as they want to be, this is what the AI future is about, they want there to be no past, and they will control the ever present, right? You say this happened yesterday, they'll delete a file. It didn't happen yesterday anymore. So they want to go back and they want to destroy all of these relics. That's why.
And like they already have, in a way, like to uncover what I believe to be the truth about our history. You can't, like, it's not on the mainstream. It's not getting on the mainstream airways. It's not on mainstream podcasts. It's not taught in our school systems at all. At all. You have to go through like independent avenues to piece it all kind of together yourself. And, you know, luckily now we have people who have kind of admittedly done a lot of the piecing together for us. And there are some great documentaries out there that can help fill in the blanks of the story that actually make reality make a little bit more sense. And it feels like that drive to, take control of information, because it is an information war, is more hotter than ever right now. Especially with some of the laws that are trying to be passed at the moment.
That's why there is this obsession with getting into Armenia, which they're working on right now. Iraq, Iran, that's exactly what I think. Iran is another place where there's so much history. But they have not been successful in destroying the ancient temples, which show you that the Star of David, it was never associated with Judaism. Jews, please wake up. The Kiddush cup, that is the traditional symbol of Judaism. It even says this on Wikipedia, that this did not emerge until the 17th century, right? 1666 was when that guy who was a mystic declared himself to be the Messiah. And they adopted this symbol because it's actually from Solomon's seal, to people that believed that Solomon's ring held power. And I want to show you this because...
And if you guys remember the video that I covered of Kyle, who snuck into the Freemason ritual, he talks about that. And as we're watching the footage of this Freemason ritual happening, you can see the Star of David up on the wall. And Kyle is talking about how the Bible that they are made to kiss in this ritual while they're blindfolded on their knees with candles lit, very fucking creepy looking, by the way, is like a weird mixture of like the Talmud and the Christian Bible. Like it's like a Freemason Bible that is a combination of other things, and the Star of David is present throughout all of this.
They have done a very good job of destroying a lot of these relics of these Baal temples. They have not done a complete job. Baal is, they are making sacrifices to Baal. That is the sacrifice that these pagans are making with constant bloodshed of children. Now, I want to show you this. I don't know if you have pulled this in yet, Skylar. Some of these relics like in Baalbek, Lebanon. Yeah, here we go. This is still present today, but obviously Israel is trying to take over Lebanon right now. That won't be here for a very long time. And then we have another Baal temple. Here you can see that Star of David, which is also all over Aleister Crowley, not a Jew, all over his books on ritualistic magic. Is the quote-unquote Star of David. You have to know this. The symbolism means everything to them. And I implore the Jewish community, you're so diligent at learning history. It's sitting right there. Start with Sigmund Freud, something recent, if you will, and then just start working backward. That's kind of what I did when I recognized these fringe movements. The Frankist cult, long speculated that Jacob Frank was funded by the Rothschild family.
Those same names keep popping up, don't they? Don't they? Sailor Boy Troy says, love how people say no one is illegal on stolen land when Aussies were sent there against their will. Shows how social warriors don't research. Thank you very much, bro. SS Tone says, born and raised by those who praise control of population. Everybody's been there, and I don't mean on vacation. Sicker than the rest, there is no test. Ooh, are you rapping? Are you rapping? Thank you, bro. And Old Trapper says, don't be fooled. She's running counter intel. Okay, there you go. Who do you think she's running counter intel against? Like, what agency is she running counter intel against? I think I'm generally on board with most of what Candace Owens thinks. Not because I listen to her and that's what I like. I don't allow her to make her mind up for me. I just generally find that the way she thinks aligns with how I independently feel and think as well. Okay, here we go. Breaking date. Oh, this is crazy. I'm not even going to spoil it. This is actually wild. Check this out.
Just one of the biggest videos I've ever made, potentially, and I would never unalive myself. So there was this email. It says, where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video. Now that's coming from Jeffrey Epstein. It was censored who he sent that to. But whoever it was said, I am in China, right? What day was that? That was in April of 2009, right? Huh. Well, this guy, he was in China in April of 2009. Schmenjman. Sat in Sasu. Yeah.
You know that
What's
guy?
it say there?
You know Schmenjman? You guys know Schmenjman, don't you?
And in the U.S., I'll be in the U.S. second week of May. I bet he wasn't, though, was he?
Probably
Holy
not.
Shit, he was.
He was. Yeah, he
Damn.
was. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Wow.
That is kind of crazy. Schmenjman was where this person who said they loved... No. Schmenjman, who might be Schmenjman, was receiving an email from Jeffrey saying, I loved the torture video. Now, let's be like, look, it's always fun to entertain a wild conspiracy theory, but let's be real. If it is like Schmenjman may have been in these places on these dates that align with this email, but someone like Schmenjman wouldn't be traveling alone. They'd probably be traveling with a shitload of people, actually, like a lot. So I think that's important to consider. There are probably a lot of people around those circles traveling on those same dates. I love a conspiracy theory, but you know, we do try to need to stay grounded at the same time. This is what I was talking about before as well. Ghislaine Maxwell. So can we see it all in one? So she's sent an email to Jeffrey and a few other people, it looks like. All it contained was a link to this news story that says ex-teen prostitute files suit in billionaire sex slave case. And that is Virginia Guffrey, who's no longer with us. And all she wrote is the Terramar Project. That's all she wrote in the email. And the Terramar Project, founded by Ghislaine Maxwell, was a non-profit initiative launched in 2012 that claimed to promote ocean conservation and stewardship of the high seas, areas beyond national jurisdiction. Yeah, I bet it was beyond national jurisdiction. In reality, it appears she was establishing human trafficking trade routes with the assistance of like-minded billionaires. The fact that she chose to send a link to this story saying nothing other than the Terramar Project speaks volumes. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a jump to say, like, in reality, it appears she was establishing human trafficking trade routes, but I mean, it certainly is fucking weird that she is a submarine pilot talking about her organization that's involved in the ocean and sending links to people accusing them of being sex slaves. I mean, make up your own mind. We won't watch that because that's in the video tomorrow. I don't want to risk the copyright. It's like a minute-long clip from a movie, but if you guys know this clip, you'll understand. Okay, this is an interesting one. This is Vladimir Putin, and Jake Shields has posted this saying this aged well. Here we go. Actually, no, you guys will need subtitles. They're probably not going to be big enough, but basically, Putin is just saying the West is being run by Jewish satanic pedophiles that want to normalize pedophilia. There you go. Let's watch this one instead. This is a 8-minute video on Pizzagate. And there is, if you go to the Epstein files and search the word pizza, there's like 850 results or something, and it's well known and documented. I believe even admitted by like the FBI that pizza is a term used by people on the internet as a code word for child prawns. Okay, I'm trying to avoid saying anything too wild. But child prawns, and cheese pizza, because cheese pizza is CP and it's the same abbreviation for child prawns. So we'll read this and then we'll watch it. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter, but the claim of pedophile elites who preyed on children was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as was a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us had been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is real. Not that there is a pizza parlor at the center of a child trafficking ring, but child trafficking rings run by some of the most powerful people in the world do exist. Tonight, I want to remind you of what I told you then and compare it to what we have now learned. And Corrupt NPC, my bro, thank you very much for the membership. Here we go. Let's watch this one.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of pedophile elites who preyed on children was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is real. Not that there is a pizza parlor at the center of a child trafficking ring, but that child trafficking rings run by some of the most powerful people in the world do exist. Tonight, I want to remind you of what I told you then and compare that to what we have now learned.
Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate?
Well, the story that came to be known as Pizzagate did not begin with a rumor. nor was it created by Macedonian sheep farmers, as CNN actually once claimed. It began with WikiLeaks, authentic, verified emails taken from the phone of the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta. Those emails were real. In all these years, by the way, no one has actually disputed that. Inside those emails were communications that struck a lot of people, not just online commentators, but researchers and former law enforcement, as unusual to say the least. References to pizza and to pizza handkerchiefs and to maps, to private gatherings involving powerful people, some very bizarre stuff. In fact, the first people to draw attention to those emails were a group of self-proclaimed pedophiles on 4chan and 8chan who claimed that Podesta was using the same terminology that they use to speak in coded language.
And that's why I always say 4chan is like the most degenerate corner of the internet, because it does provide like some interesting stuff, like the guy who allegedly posted about the day when Epstein was, allegedly swapped out as a prison guard. Like, it is a place where people will sometimes post really interesting shit anonymously, but it is also rife on some sections of it with like dark shit, like CP, right? And like it's like openly done on there. So it's interesting to hear what he's saying is that you've got these people who are into this stuff, absolute freaks, the bad kind, and they're saying like, when these WikiLeaks emails came out, they're like, hey, they're using the same degenerate language that we use on this 4chan board when we're posting and talking about our CP. They're using the same words. Like, so these pedos are like self-identifying, and it's like the Spider-Man meme of like them pointing at each other like, wait, they're actually pedos. It was the pedos who caught the pedos.
And in researching those emails, I found a 2010 entry into Urban Dictionary. It's still there, by the way. It confirms that cheese pizza is a commonly coded term for child pornography, CP.
I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I was called a dangerous conspiracy theorist and a madman for claiming that pedophiles and possibly even pedophile elites might use coded language, even though it was online pedophiles who said that's exactly what they do. Which brings us back to this new Epstein release, because in it, the word pizza is mentioned 911 times. That's right, 911 times adults are emailing back and forth about slices of pizza and about pizza parties. And the word pizza is often paired with grape soda in bizarre contexts within emails addressed to Epstein by individuals whose names have been mostly redacted. So here's one. Quote, "This is better than a Chinese cookie. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand." Or this one. "Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please?" Or this one from 2014. "Sit down, because I know you won't believe this. Are you sitting? Jeffrey says he wants to go out to a pizza place with you. He did not mention a particular pizza place, but he knows you are in the know on this."
I mean, God, how telling is that? Like, how, for people who are busy, in Jeffrey Epstein's own words, moving the money around, controlling the world, and letting the Goyim settle things in the real world, right? For people who are busy pulling all these strings, doing all this crazy shit, they spend so much time talking about pizza in these emails. And it's not just like casually. I mean, listen to this. Jeffrey says he wants to go out to a pizza place with you, but he didn't mention a particular pizza place, but he knows you're in the know on this. God, how much do you guys care about fucking pizza? Like, and how much time do you have on your hands to talk about it? And it's just so weird. It's just so fucking weird. Ra Clark says, book 1666, Redemption Through Sin Global Conspiracy in History, Religion, Politics, and Finance by Robert Sepper. Videos also on YouTube and Rumble. Okay. Thank you very much, Clark. Appreciate it. Zach Beach gifted 5 memberships. Zach, my bro, thank you very much, man. I appreciate your support. And Rambro says, got to run, brother. Thank you. Keep your head up while you bend those knees to jump. The more we practice, the higher we will jump, the more we can see. Much love to you and the weirdos, as above, so below. Thank you, Rambo, brother. Have a good day. And Kelly Anushka says, celebrating 5 months, by the way, says, I can't keep up with Josh's island time. It doesn't make any sense. Love you all. Now we know why they built bunkers, bastards. Yes. And I'm doing my best. I'm all over the place. I really am. But thank you very much for the 5 months. I appreciate you. And D coming in with the 12 months says a whole year of weirdness. Thank you for connecting the dots. Truly appreciate it. Bro, thank you for 12 months of support. That's crazy that we're here 12 months later. Wow. Thank you, man. Really do appreciate it. And let's get some love in the chat for D and everyone else who's showing some love on the chat. And guys, if you're a goy and you're proud, slap a like on the stream. We'll keep going with this video for now.
With a little winking emoji. All of the emails that I just shared with you were from 2014, right about the same time period of the John Podesta emails that WikiLeaks published and started the entire Pizzagate saga.
Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Podesta brothers, again, there was no direct evidence of them being involved in child sex trafficking from those emails. But as we pointed out at the time, there was a lot of bizarre communication, including an email from John Podesta to his brother Tony. The subject line, "Last night was fun," and the first line reads, "Still in torture chamber." That email got really no attention 10 years ago, but today, a 2009 email from Jeffrey Epstein is getting a lot of attention, as it asks, "Where are you? You okay? I love the torture video."
To the fall.
God damn. It's probably nothing though, right? Like, how did this stuff come out? Like, even in the WikiLeaks emails, and people were still just like, eh. It's no wonder that, like, it was Julian Assange, right? That leaked the WikiLeaks. Is that correct? It's no wonder that guy is so, I don't know if hated is the right word, like wanted. Like he's so like wanted to be arrested, because that guy really blew the lid off this. Like, and when I say blew the lid off, I mean like created the crack. Like, you know, when you go to drill a hole in something and you sometimes put maybe you don't, but like you put a drill in reverse and you just make a little like a little pilot hole so you can actually drill. That was what Julian Assange did. Julian Assange walked so the conspiracy theorists like us could run. And Aussie too. Shout out to Julian. I hope he's okay wherever he is. Let's finish this off.
Fallout from the latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein documents. They include communications between the rich and powerful, from the co-owner of an NFL team to billionaires like Elon Musk.
CNN teams are carefully sifting through the largest, and what the Justice Department says is the last, batch of Jeffrey Epstein files.
Friday's release of millions of pages related to Jeffrey Epstein provided a closer look at his connection to world elites from Hollywood to Washington, Wall Street, to Buckingham Palace and beyond.
Yeah, well, all those so-called news anchors and their newsrooms for a decade blacklisted this topic. They conditioned you to live in ignorance. They called it a conspiracy. They called me and so many others dangerous for even looking.
For all that is here, there is not...
Same thing they called David Icke, by the way. Dangerous. Dangerous. Not to you, though. To them. These people are dangerous conspiracy theorists to them. They're not dangerous to us.
Been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI. No one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place?
Well, 10 years later, no investigation ever took place. It's a failure of a complicit government and also of a corporate media that didn't just ignore this evil. they helped to cover it up and keep it operating in the shadows. See, by refusing to engage honestly in 2016, by choosing mockery over investigation, by silencing questions instead of asking them, they created the very environment where this evil could thrive. See, they didn't kill bad information as they pretended. They guaranteed it would survive. See, I wasn't censored the way that I was because my reporting was false. I was censored because it was dangerous. Dangerous to narratives, dangerous to reputations, dangerous to a media culture that had grown comfortable acting as a gatekeeper rather than a watchdog. See, the unspoken rule was simple. Some questions are not allowed. Not because they're wrong, no, but because they lead to the truth. And the truth? Pizzagate. At least in the form of a cabal of elites and powerful people who delight in the physical and sexual abuse of children, is real. Remember how we started. Epstein is Pizzagate. But the other reality it's time to accept, Pizzagate is much more and much bigger than just Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep. I think it goes through the whole West. I mean, look, Jimmy Savile, that's such a big one for me. Jimmy Savile and the implications of like Prince Andrew in the Epstein files, who was very close with Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile was close with the royals. Like, this is worldwide, and there are similar tales in Australia too. Fly Away Forever says, it seems that people with neurodivergence can put this shit together easily. Yep. Yeah. I would have to agree with that. I don't know what it is. I never, and I'm not saying that I've put all this together, by the way, but like, I do feel like I can just see things for what they are extremely quickly. And I never realized it was pattern. I never really knew the term pattern recognition until sort of like recently, when people sort of talk about pattern recognition, and I was like, okay, it makes sense. I understand. I feel like I do that. But my whole life, I had always said that I have this weird ability to, and I always noticed it with friends, and they would always think I was weird, where I would realize that like someone or something looked like someone that we met like one time fucking 15 years ago. And they would be like actually really identical. And I would tell people, I'd be like, bro, so-and-so looks like, that weird chick who served us at this restaurant like 10 years ago. And they'd be like, how do you remember that? Like, I don't know. I don't know why I remember it. It's so useless, but like, it just pops in my head. And I was like, I've seen that face before. Like, I recognize this. I've seen this pattern before. And it's like, what? And even when I would say it, I would be like, I'm so weird. Like, I'm so weird for remembering this. And even my friends would be like, dude, that's like, yeah, you're right. But like, why the fuck do you know that? I'm like, I don't know. All right. Here we go. This is Ozpill, Aussie content creator. An Epstein victim who died in Australia last year was mentioned in the latest Epstein files. In emails, Epstein's private investigator was promoting the idea of using Prince Andrew's British intelligence connections against Virginia Giuffre. Let's listen to this.
So Virginia Giuffre, she worked at Mar-a-Lago when she was young, when she was like 16. And while she was working at Mar-a-Lago, she was picked up by Epstein and was eventually, as she said, trafficked. Significantly enough, the evidence point to show that she was paid out in a settlement by Prince Andrew. Then she married an Australian guy, Robert Jeffrey, and she lived in Australia until April in 2025. She killed herself. Now, she was a key witness. The FBI had even interviewed her in Sydney regarding Epstein, regarding the files. And her testimony was key into having Ghislaine Maxwell put away. So she was actually quite a significant witness. And she was living in Australia at the time of her suicide in 2025. Now, there is correspondence that came out in this recent 3 million page release that shows that Epstein was coordinating with Prince Andrew, or an affiliate of Andrew, to hound Virginia Giuffre, to basically get intelligence agencies, presumably through Andrew was MI6, but since she was in Australia, it could easily have been ASIO or ASIS, to hound her, to investigate her with a private investigator out of being this key witness. By all accounts, that did actually happen, because while she was still alive, Virginia Giuffre was reporting this. She was saying she was being hounded, she was being accosted, she was being followed, a lot of things were happening to it. We now have communication showing that it was being asked around at the time, hey, can we like get data on this girl? Can we get dirt on her? And these documents come to reveal there was some level of like intelligence coordination to harass her. And then of course in April 2025, she killed herself in rural Western Australia, where months before that, she was hit by a school bus or a bus going like 100 kilometers an hour. Some people back then were saying that was a failed hit. Like they were.
It probably was a failed hit, but 100 kilometers an hour does anyone know the actual details on that? Because I feel like I don't know if that could fail. That's crazy. 100 k's an hour by a bus. There's no way you're coming out of that. Although I do remember when that happened, she was like extremely, like she was on the brink of death. I do remember that.
Like they were trying to kill her then. And then a few months later, she winds up dead by suicide. But that isn't conclusive because it is kind of obfuscated by the fact that she was having family troubles because there was like an active restraining order against her or some sort of domestic order against her from her husband. So we can't say for sure like she was picked up by authorities. Her life was getting pretty confusing. But the paper trail is there. You've got like a $16 million settlement from Andrews to then being interviewed by the FBI in Sydney to then having these Epstein start asking around, how can we track this girl, get dirt on her, harass her? This is a key witness. Years later, winds up dead.
Yeah.
So
what a coincidence, right? Don't they all? Don't they all? Just going back to me and the pattern recognition thing, I saw Susie made a funny comment and said, but can you find your keys? And the answer is no. General day-to-day life, a little bit chaotic, but you know, he's gotta ride the wave, baby. He's gotta ride that wave. Kelly says, I'm glad you're keeping your channel going. We love your energy and your sarcasm. Our weirdo family has the highest vibe. Love from England. Thank you very much, Kelly. Look, I'll be real. It's been hard. It's been hard doing this in a new location. I don't know why. It's just, but it is. I think maybe as well somewhere like this where like I'm just surrounded by the temptation of like going to the beach. My gym is absolutely incredible. It's got like a pool, a sauna, an ice bath, an onsen, a restaurant. Like it's just, there's just beauty all around me. So like to stay in like work mode and, you know, stay deep in it, it's been hard. And on top of that, I've also got my other channel, which I've been trying to do videos on. And obviously coming overseas, I don't have like the meds that I was taking with me, which really does make a massive difference. And I'll be real, it's hard. I am struggling. Not in like I'm not depressed or anything like that, but like I'm struggling to keep up with the work ethic that I like to have or that I want. But like you just got to ride the wave, baby. Just got to ride that wave. Keep going. Ryan D says Matthew Brown's information resonate on a deeper level now. G is real. Yep. What did he say? Reality is a lie as well. He did say God is real, but he said reality is a lie. And God is real. Yep. Lyndon Reith, you little freak. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Chick High says the Virgin we're living in 1984 versus the Chad we're living in They Live. What a time to be alive. Yeah, I love that. And absolutely. I think a bit about column A and column B, to be honest. Ra Clark says time for a republic. Thank you very much, Ra Clark. Zach with 50 says, hey, I am a half Jewish man. My mum is Catholic. My dad's Jewish. And my last name is a Jewish last name. I have 2 kids and none of my family stands with anything Epstein stood for. But will you and others want us gone just for being Jewish? I'm scared. No, absolutely not, dude. And, you know, every time I talk about this, I do try to make the distinction. I certainly did in this video that I filmed today. And I did in the last video that I did where I covered this stuff. And this is why it's a tough topic to talk about because, you know, the term Jew implicates so many people. And I really do think that is by design. Because when you look back at like the Khazarian mafia and you look at the history of like how this stuff started, they intentionally hide behind Abrahamic religions. And it's actually not just Jews, by the way. I mean, look at the Catholic Church. It's full of pedophiles, right? It's just, I guess, Jews are in the spotlight right now. Why that is, who knows? But it's not just the Jews, but I do think that this is by design because when people find it and they start realizing what the fuck these people are actually doing, that on the outside they masquerade as an Abrahamic religion, but on the inside they're worshiping Baal and performing ritual sacrifice. When you point them out, you're anti-Semitic, right? And then all of the other good goyim who don't look into any of this and just ingest what is put on their, you know, Jewish funded news tells them, they'll turn around to you and be like, you're a racist anti-Semite. And it's like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. That's what they want you to think. But these people are fucking Satanists. Not all of them. Not all of them, though. And that's why it's complex. And that's why I prefer the term, like, I mean, I think Zionist is sort of a different thing. That's its own problem, really. Zionism is its own problem. But this is not about all Jewish people. And unfortunately, there's not really like a good way to use the English language to like delineate that distinction. But I think as a Jewish person, the best thing you could do, honestly, is speak up about it yourself and just be clear about the fact that, like, you know, you don't stand with that. And I think anyone, like ultimately me, I don't care what religion you are, bro. I don't care if you're Jewish, don't care if you're Catholic or a Mormon or whatever. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever either. Gay, straight, don't care. Are you a good person? Are you nice? Are you kind? You know, would you help an old lady who fell over? You know, that's all that matters. That's literally all that matters. So I think the complication of all of these labels and like subsects of society is our downfall. Because when we peel away the labels, as I always say with everything, like when we're looking at UFOs, peel away the labels, and at the bottom of it all, we're all human. And that's what we need to remember. But there are some people who are not treating people equally like humans. In fact, they're referring to us as subhuman, right? And they just happen to also wear the mask of a religion that unfortunately many good people wear too. And they're now getting implicated in this. So it is a really difficult thing to talk about. And that's why it's hard to talk about. And that's why some people probably don't, because they don't know how to weave their way carefully with their words about how they actually feel. So that is why I try to talk sort of like deliberately about it when I do, because I think it needs to be spoken about. Otherwise, nothing changes. But you also have to be careful. Like, I think, like Dan Bilzerian, I think, is a classic example. Always popping off, just going like, fuck the Jews, fuck this, it's all the fucking Jews. And it's like, I understand what he's saying and I get where it's coming from. But it's like, bro, you're throwing too much fuel on a fire in the wrong way. That's just implicating the wrong people. Like you're calling all Jews whatever you're calling them, and that's just not the case. So it's tough. It's tough, man. But no, I don't want you to go anywhere, bro. I want you to go anywhere. Stay right there, Zach. Sailor Boy Troy says pattern recognition is what they called seers in the day. It's not as supernatural as it seems. Schizo is directly connected to shamanism, worth looking into. Yeah, that's interesting, Troy, because I have heard that. And, you know, it actually makes sense because generally the future can be sort of like predicted in a way based on what has happened in the past, right? Like if you have like something coming up and similar things have happened in the past, or the exact same thing has happened in the past, someone with good pattern recognition could probably just look at the patterns and have a good guess, a good estimate on what is going to happen in the future. And if someone is hyper good at that, they're probably a psychic or a seer, right? Because they can read the future. And I think like anyone who's sort of into that realm of like psychics and whatever, which I wouldn't even say I am, but I do know that those people themselves will say that like what I'm saying is not necessarily gospel, like it's not 100%, and I could be wrong and it can change, right? Like it's not a 100% thing because it's at the end of the day, it's a guess. It's just a guess based on data. School of SA says it's time to define what a Jewish person is. Yeah, that's an interesting comment. That is a very interesting comment, actually. Yeah, yep. I and to give them credit, by the way, there has been a lot of, like, I have seen on social media, Jews, Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Jews, publicly like protesting against Zionism and all kinds of things that we generally like lump like Jews into like a negative category for, right? So like full credit to them. And like I do kind of think in a way, like unfortunately those people who aren't doing that kind of shit but are openly Jewish, I think like unfortunately for you, like the onus is almost on you in a way to kind of like make a stand, because people are using your faith as a shield to do terrible things. Leonidas says, so grateful you are covering the Epstein files. The rank supremacy coming off those evil pages, it makes me sick. Yeah, I feel you, dude. I feel you very much. Thank you very much. Jodua celebrating 8 months says, if Uncle Jack helped you off an elephant, would he help your Uncle Jack off an elephant? Yes, he absolutely would be helping your Uncle Jack off an elephant. And I guess that's what a good uncle does, right? Drucifer says, cheers, bro. Thank you very much, Drew. All right. What else we got? This is a audio of President Nixon basically just saying you can't trust Jews and that they're all arrogant. We probably don't need to listen to it. It's not that interesting, but it's funny. Yeah, okay, we'll listen to John McAfee speak from a Faraday cage.
Some few of you may be living an existence of dissatisfaction, maybe even a sense of emptiness, a sense of longing, a yearning that doesn't seem to be filled. Even though you may try with entertainment, sex, and drugs, though I have nothing against those, they don't fill that yearning.
Is he in a tinfoil igloo? He's in a Faraday cage. Like, this is like final boss conspiracy theorist, right? Forget the hat. Forget the hat, baby. We're lining the walls with it. And that's not it. He's even got a signal scrambler in there, so no signals can get in or out. So this is the final boss of conspiracy theorists, John McAfee, who also was the creator of McAfee antivirus software. And, you know, obviously a very intelligent guy. Isn't it interesting that so many people who are like intelligent kind of seem to go off the deep end a little? But yeah, he went basically off the grid because he saw the system for what it is. And are the volumes a little high? Sorry, I had to turn it up for the other one before. He saw the system for what it is and basically started just saying it and went living in like Costa Rica somewhere in his Faraday cage and would just like send out these fucking transmissions, which I made a post on X the other day. Like watching these transmissions now today feels like watching transmissions from Cooper in Interstellar. And it's like, is this from the future? Is this like from now? And he could like see the future and was like making transmissions, because back then he was just crazy John McAfee, right? When all the Goyim was still busy eating their Frosty Flakes and jerking off to Love Island. John McAfee was telling you what the fuck's going on.
You may be waking up every day wanting more, but not knowing what it is that you want. It's those few of you that I'd like to address right now. This sense of longing, this sense of yearning, this sense of not being satisfied is really your loss of freedom. And it is freedom for which you yearn. And you have none in this government. A government of the American people, which started out with the people being free and the government being our servants. It has become the government is free and secret and veiled in darkness, and it is the people that are the servants. You must see the truth of this, your yearning, your longings, your sense of dissatisfaction that cannot be filled with stuff, with cars, with money. No matter how much you have, that sense of dissatisfaction remains. Please, you have woken up to your reality. That is what you are feeling. Wake up a bit more and do something about it. Raise your voice.
Tell me this isn't John McAfee from the future watching all of us right now and giving us this message. I mean, come on. One more time, John, please.
That sense of dissatisfaction remains. Please, you have woken up to your reality. That is what you are feeling. Wake up a bit more and do something about it. Raise your voice.
There he is. John McAfee from Beyond the Grave narrating your life right now. Here's another transmission from him in his Faraday cage. I think we'll skip that one. We'll keep going. What else we got here? Okay, this is a little clip from the Epstein interview, 7.5 minutes. We'll see what Jeffrey Epstein claims the universe is a simulation. New Jeffrey Epstein file leaked. He claims universe is simulation. Okay, here we go.
Philosophy, some of the philosophers can't do math, and some of the mathematicians. And again,
by the way, can I just say, did anyone else find it weird to like hear him speak for the first time? And like, because I always say this on the channel, right? Like when I watch people speak, when we all watch people speak, like we're trying to get a read on them, their eyes, their body, their voice, everything, right? You're taking all of this in for the first time, and assessing. You're making an assessment on like their character, and it's so weird to see someone on the surface who looks, just fairly human, but you have this absolute catalog of absolutely inhuman things that this guy has allegedly done. So it's almost like jarring. It's jarring to like hear him. And his voice is so Jewish. So Jewish. Kelly says, I feel like you're my little brother. I can never find my keys. Get some ashwagandha with this. It's a herbal supplement. It helps your mind not race. No meds needed. I actually took a little bit of that when I was back home, and it really helped me sleep well. And it was good. So thank you very much for that. I'll see if I can find some of that here, Kelly. Really appreciate that. And my man Moldy coming in with 6 months and the gold trim. Thank you, bro. He says the elite multinationals use other cultures as scapegoats and secret societies like shell corporations. Thanks for 6 months of great content, bro. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. And I know you've been around even longer than that. So thank you very much. All right, let's see what Jeffrey Epstein has to say.
Philosophy, some of the philosophers can't do math, and some of the mathematicians. And again, mathematicians often break into two categories. People that solve problems. Those are more like geometers in the old days, just problem solvers. And then there's thinkers, theoreticians. They're more like the old movement towards philosophy. But neither one of those two groups have been able to figure out why something is alive as opposed to something that's not alive. No one's been able to describe what the soul is, but we all know it exists. And
this is interesting too, like, hearing the things he's talking about, like I said earlier, clearly intelligent, with like a lot of sort of philosophical kind of outlooks on humanity, apparently. Or he's a good liar, or he's just tricking the goyim. and I'm buying it hook, line, and sinker.
And I think what we need is a new science is a bad word. I think science only describes the things we already know about the physical world. In fact, there's an argument that the physical world that we see has been created out of our systems of mathematics. Mathematics, everyone knows mathematics describes the physical world much greater than it should, unless my view, the physical world really comes out of conscious beings that have mathematics. So they create it. This table appears to you and I to be solid. To a bat, because we have light that's bouncing off the table into our eyes, it appears solid. If instead of eyes that responded to wavelengths of visual light, our eyes responded to radio waves, the radio frequencies, it's not different, it's the same type of frequency as light, but different speeds, the table's invisible. We know that our phone works in this room. So the waves are coming through the windows, the waves are coming through the walls. So the walls are invisible to that type of radiation, that type of energy. The walls are, I can see them because my eyes, a physical system determines that the walls are there.
It's interesting what he's talking about. Like, again, like, this is what I mean. I think he's clearly intelligent, and like, I'm not like supporting him by saying that, but I'm just saying like this dude is clearly smart, and to me that makes sense. it makes sense that this is an intelligent guy, because look at what he is and did. And like, just being real, I'm pretty sure it's like a known thing that like that the Khazars, the Khazarian mafia, Ashkenazi Jews are DNA proven to kind of have like they just generally on average have a higher IQ than people, right? They just do. Why is that? I don't know, but in some of the things that I think I touch on in the video that I recorded today, and maybe we'll see some of it here, but it is believed, these people believe that when you consume the flesh of a human being, a baby, a highly adrenalized baby, when you are consuming another human being, you are imbuing yourself with their, not just their energy, but their consciousness, their intellect, their intelligence, like all of the, like everything that kind of makes up a human on like a metaphysical level, you are consuming that, and it is imbuing you. So is that why they're smarter than us? I don't know. That's what people say, that happens. And then these people are apparently doing this kind of shit. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason, but the dots do connect.
With Murray Geldman, you founded, or with the original donor, and had the idea of Santa Fe Institute. In 10 or 15 years later, that effort to study the complexity of systems mathematically.
Yes.
It's
a total failure. Yes.
A total failure.
Total failure.
Why is that?
It's the failure of science because, in fact, if to some extent science doesn't describe romance, I don't know why I'm attracted to somebody. I don't know. People are attracted to each other, and everyone has the same feeling. They've seen someone walk in the room, and they say, "Oh, that person gives me a creepy feeling."
Someone says the IQ thing is not even remotely close to true. When I heard it, I immediately thought, like, how do you eat someone's flesh and gain their intelligence? Like, I agree, it does sound crazy, but I can't prove it. I can't prove that it's not true. And I've never killed a baby, and I've never performed a ritual, and I've never tried to adrenalize something's blood and then ritualistically kill it. So I don't actually know what happens when that happens. But I do know that this isn't exclusive to Khazarians. It's not exclusive to satanic Jewish cults, okay? It's actually something that happened all over the world throughout history. Aztecs, Mayans, it happened in Norse mythology. It happened in like the oh god, what are they called? Like Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Maori culture. The like cannibalism was kind of worldwide. Like the Maoris believed when they would eat the flesh of another being, that they would consume their mana. Now, if you play World of Warcraft, you know that mana, whatever you want to call it, is like a power source. It's a human power source. It's an energy source for a being. So these are the beliefs of cultures all around the world. Were they all just weirdos? Were they all just weirdos who had the same belief systems across centuries or even like millennia? Or is there actually something to it? Is there actually something? I mean, I think there probably is, right? Like, otherwise, why are all these people doing it? They must be getting something from it, obviously. I don't know about the eating part, maybe, but the sacrifice part, like, I think so. I do think so. I think they are getting something from it. And it's something that is not physical. It's like favor from the gods. They're imbuing themselves with power. I don't know how it works, but just based on history, I don't think so many different cultures would all be doing the same thing if it didn't work. It's just logical, right?
Science has tried to describe. Science doesn't describe what creepy feelings means. They just know it's a creepy feeling. I think women, as I said the last time, have an intuitive sense. What is intuitive? They have intuition, they have feelings, and they're able to deal in the realm of things that men, especially men like myself, find unexplainable. They have women have intuition, men see things a bit differently. Men want to measure everything, women are not really that interested in measuring.
In what you're saying in macro terms, you actually think science, mathematics, maybe ultimately technology is moving to that more intuitive?
I think science and math are old-fashioned. And unfortunately, people are still taught...
Science and math are old, loser. We're doing sacrifice now, okay? Fuck your numbers. We don't need that anymore. We're drinking blood.
...that they have to learn algebra in school and certain things in school, as opposed to learning to have an emotional...
Is this what Larry Summers was trying to get at? Maybe he didn't say it perfectly enough, but what he was trying to get to in that system, the systems we study today, the way mathematics is either taught or understood, that women just haven't gotten up to the highest realms of engineering or physics or mathematics because of that, and you're actually implying that there's a either new branch of science, or we've hit an inflection point like in Newton that's going to go in a... Newton took mankind in a different direction because he was able to measure. Then you had subatomic, non-Newtonian physics later. Are you saying that you think there's another developing field that's coming up that may take us, I don't know how many decades to get our hands around, but that's what's evolving out of this?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I think that mathematics, it's not the end of science. Every year someone says it's the end of, we can't discover everything. There's lots to discover with relationship to the physical world, but we know a lot already. In respect to the unexplainable world, we almost know nothing.
Really? Taras says, shit, my door just slammed closed and no one is home. Scared the shit out of me. Taras, you may have the ghost of Epstein creeping through your door. Be careful, my man. Susie says his voice makes my skin crawl. Okay, Susie, that's very anti-Semitic of you. Tara says the most bagel voice in the world. Wow, you guys are so anti-Semitic. It's crazy. Logic Manifest says, for researchers, keywords advita, nominal, biosemiotics. Bro, are you making me say like a fucking... Are you making me summon a demon here? Qualia, people, Deepak Chopra, Mishlav, Sarfati, male group, Sadhu, Sangha, consciousness. Bro, I hope I didn't just summon Fefri, the ghost of Fefri. God damn it.
Women, again, sense it. And instead of Larry Summers, I won't digress too much, but Howard Gardner early on said, there's not one form of intelligence.
He says, no, they're just keywords in the files. Okay, thank you very much. If anyone wants to dig into the files, maybe we can in another stream. We want to punch in those keywords. Thank you very much, Logic Manifest.
It's not mathematical intelligence. There's emotional intelligence. There's kinesthetic intelligence. There's this argument that I reject that black people are less intelligent than white people. It's not true. We know, for example, that if I was in the forest and I had to run from the lion or figure out a way not to be eaten, and my competition is a local African, I'm the one who's getting eaten because they have the intelligence to deal with their local environment. So it's just different. It's not better, it's not worse, but there's many differences amongst different types of people. And so people have different intelligences and they excel in some intelligences usually and less so in others.
Zach says, I'm half Ashkenazi Jew, and I can promise you my family has never hurt children. I love my kids more than my life itself, and I want peace for all people. Also, just to clarify, as a half Jew, I believe Jesus is the Son of God, and I love him. Bro, thank you. And you don't need to do that, because I don't think that, you know what I mean? And again, that's why this thing is difficult to talk about, because we're talking about people who are using your religion and your label to do terrible things, and it's a very sticky subject. So, bro, I can't send you enough love because I don't want you to feel like to think of what it might feel like to feel like marginalized by society and implicated in something like this when you're not doing it, which I'm sure you're not, would be a horrible feeling. So I hope you don't feel that way. And I'm sure everyone in the chat does. So please, if we can spam some love for my man, Zach, and let him know that we are here for him and that we know that this is not about just Jews as a whole, because we don't paint with the same brush. But this is the reality that this is going on. And thank you very much for the super chat as well, bro. Very generous as always. Big love.
When did it come to, because the world of high finance is a world of pure reason, or is it a lot of emotion and gut checks and on trading desk and central banks when these decisions get made? Is it that high church, like the high church of science of high energy physics, or is it as much emotion that comes in as much as the mathematics and the reason?
It's a great question. I think if you talk to really experienced and successful traders and you ask them how they know what's going on, they can't give you an answer. They don't know. They feel it. They can feel the way the market's moving. They can feel the way the stock's moving. And that these are not very well-defined terms. It's difficult to put in mathematics terms, how did I feel it? You could look back and make guesses what I was seeing. But great traders feel it and then act on their feelings. That's the difference. Many people feel it but are afraid because they want a mathematical justification before they take that next step.
He's spitting truth here. He's exactly right.
When you first got on the trading desk at Bear Stearns in the late 70s or mid 70s, were you shocked by how little actual understanding of mathematics that the traders comprehended?
Yeah, well, again, we had a Texas Instrument calculator. Most stockbrokers, especially before 1975, if they were...
Okay, that cut off at a weird time. Some people, I saw a comment of someone saying, did you see the Ball bank account? Now, I did see that, but I think Ian Carroll did a video kind of debunking it, basically saying it's actually BAA1 and that it's... it was funny because he's like, they do worship Baal. That is all completely true. But in this instance, like it's not that. So interesting. We're going to watch this, actually. I want to watch this just in case you guys haven't seen this. So I'm sure you guys know who this is Sean Ryan. And he had a guest on the show recently who was calling out a Christian church. So this is nice. This is nice to just share the heat, okay? Share the heat to some other religions. A Christian church that is being accused by many, many people of doing all the same shit to children on summer camps. So they threatened him with legal action to basically like redact his episode and what he said. And he has turned around and said, go and fuck yourself. So shout out to Sean Ryan and let's watch this.
I need to talk to you about something serious. Last week, I received a demand letter from lawyers representing Kanakuk Ministries, a Christian summer camp in Missouri. They're threatening to sue me for defamation because of something I said on my podcast with Congressman Ro Khanna. Here's what I said. I brought Elizabeth Phillips on my show, and she talked about how Kanakuk employees have been molesting thousands of kids for years and putting them under NDAs after settlements so they can never come out and talk about their sexual abuse and trauma.
Thousands of kids a year, thousands. And what is it? Kanakuk? Kanakuk is like a Christian summer camp. I think summer camps are obviously really popular in America. They're not really a thing in Australia, I don't think. But it's just like where kids go away for 4 to 6 weeks over the summer, and hang out and camp and I guess just do cool like fun activities, but are also getting raped at Kanakuk. So here we go.
Kanakuk's lawyers are demanding I take down that portion of the interview, issue a public apology, and stop talking about this. They gave me 10 days. That deadline has passed. Here's my response. No, I don't negotiate with pedophiles or the people who defend them. I'm not taking anything down. I'm not apologizing, and I'm damn sure not going to stop talking about child sexual abuse at a Christian camp that continues to operate on the same grounds where horrific abuse took place. Let me be crystal clear about the facts. Facts that Kanakuk's own lawyers admitted in their letter. 1. Pete Newman, a senior Kanakuk employee and camp director, sexually abused children at Kanakuk for multiple years in the early 2000s. He's now serving life sentences. 2. Between 20 and 30 civil lawsuits were filed against Kanakuk. 3. Multiple confidential settlement agreements were executed with victims, NDAs that prevented these kids from speaking publicly about what happened to them. Kanakuk can't prove the number is less than thousands, and given their own admission of a cover-up, the true number is unknowable. But here's what really pisses me the fuck off. Kanakuk is still operating a camp at the very location where countless children suffered horrific abuse. They're still running programs. They're still bringing kids to the exact same place. And now they want to silence me for talking about it. This isn't about protecting their reputation. This is about protecting children, and I will not be silenced. My attorney has sent Kanakuk's lawyers a response. We've made it clear. If they want to sue me, bring it on. We welcome discovery. We welcome depositions of Kanakuk leadership about what they knew, when they knew it, and what they did or didn't do to protect children. We welcome full disclosure of every abuse allegation, every settlement, every internal investigation, and every financial record showing whether Kanakuk actually suffered any harm from my statement or whether this is just an attempt to intimidate people into silence.
You gotta love it. You gotta love how just like emphatically firm he is, and you just know that this man isn't budging. And what I love is that, like, you know, I feel equally passionate to talk about this kind of stuff, and I find it weird, right, that these Epstein files dropped, and there's still people on X like posting shit like, oh, look at these Majestic 12 documents. They're talking about the crash retrieval. It's like, bro, the world's ran by fucking pedophiles. Who fucking cares about that right now? Like, yes, like I do find that stuff interesting, but if you're someone who's like a truth seeker and you're into conspiracies and this came out and you're still trying to talk about like UFOs and stuff, like, bro, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? And when I talk about this kind of stuff, I think I'm like, look, I'm not really a big channel. Like I could get like flicked away like a bug. Like I've got no money. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I got like legally threatened, I'd be completely fucked. And if this channel got banned, I'd probably be completely fucked too. But I do it anyway because I'm autistic. And I don't know why. I just feel like I have to. I feel like I have to, right? It's the right thing to do. But I love it when someone like this is doing it, because I know that, bro, Sean Ryan could Sean Ryan could probably, like, you know, because what is suing? Like financial warfare is really just a battle of like who has the most money, really. And I feel like Sean Ryan would wipe the floor with these people. Well, I don't know, maybe not if they're a church, actually. I don't know. But I feel like at least someone like this standing up for this is a really big deal and could really go toe to toe with these people. So I think this is a really good thing.
Under Tennessee law, Kanakuk will have to prove I'm lying. They'll have to prove actual malice, that I knew my statements were false, or that I had serious doubts about its truth. They can't do that because I relied on Elizabeth Phillips, whose brother was a victim. I relied on public court records, relied on widespread media coverage of Pete Newman's prosecution, and most importantly, they admit the core of what I said is true. Kanakuk employees sexually abused children. Victims were silenced by confidentiality agreements. That's not defamation, that's the truth. I want to say something directly to survivors. I see you, I believe you, and I will not stop fighting for you. Sexual abuse at youth camps especially Christian camps that are supposed to be safe places, is a matter of urgent public concern. Parents have a right to know. Kids have a right to be protected, and survivors have a right to speak. Kanakuk's attempt to use legal threats to silence reporting on child sexual abuse in itself is newsworthy, and I'm going to keep reporting on it. To Kanakuk, you want to talk about callous and malicious disregard for the truth? Let's talk about operating a camp where a predator had access to thousands of children for years. Let's talk about confidentiality agreements that silenced traumatized kids. Let's talk about continuing to operate on a crime scene. You're not the victim here. The children you failed to protect are the victims. I stand by every word I said. I will not retract. I will not apologize. And if you want to sue me, my lawyers are ready. To everyone watching, this is why I do this show. This is why we tell real stories about real people, because the truth matters, because kids matter, and because some things are more important than money or reputation. If you want to support survivors of institutional child sexual abuse, check out No More Victims, the organization Elizabeth Phillips founded. They're passing laws to protect kids and hold institutions like Kanakuk accountable. And if you're a survivor, please know it's not your fault. You deserve justice, and there are people fighting for you. I'll keep you updated as this develops, but I'm not going to be backing down.
Get him, Sean. Bravo. Absolutely. I mean, I love that. What a rally cry. And I'm sure most of you guys know who Sean Ryan is. So I think I just wanted to put this out here so you guys saw it. So, you know, if like you can support Sean and what he's doing in any way that he might need, even if it's just like resharing this kind of stuff or whatever. I think it's important. Fly Ether says, yes, he's a piece of shit, talking about Jeffrey Epstein, but let's try and put aside emotion. He knows so much about science because he was helping Israel obtain advanced US tech. Thank you very much, Fly. Also, Old Soul Joe, you little freak, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome. And Scott Wee says, Logic was dropping search words for the files. Look up these keywords. Let's work together for the greater good. Evil F's hard. Let truth F harder. I love that, Scotty. Thank you very much. And I don't think we will do like actually look through the Epstein files in this stream. But if that's something you guys want to do and like punch in keywords and stuff, we could maybe do that tomorrow. The day after that, I'm going to Java. And I'll be away for a week, but I'm just going to try and do at least a stream or two while I'm away. And I've got a couple of podcast conversations that are going to be dropping soon. So hopefully the content will still be rolling while I'm away. But we could do that tomorrow before I leave. And Christine, not Christina, by the way, Christine with a massive super chat of $100. Thank you very much. She says, thanks for bringing it. Thanks for bringing it. Fire to this needed stream. Please use this towards a Bali sound healing and meditation session straight to the brain and nervous system or towards the rub and tug. I have the best group on YouTube supporting me, I swear to God. She says, much love to all of us weirdos as the truth is unraveling and will require great stillness. Thank you very much. You're a sweetheart, Christine. I really do appreciate it. And a Bali sound healing and meditation session sounds absolutely amazing. I really need to look that up and find out where I can go do that because yes, please. Thank you very much. Again, with those big super chats, thank you doesn't feel like enough, but you know, I appreciate you. And Old Soul Joe has gifted a membership as well. Let's get some love in the chat for all of these legends supporting. And let's keep going with what we've got here. Yep, a bit of Baal. This is a Jay Anderson video. It goes for 15 minutes, probably a little bit long. I think he uploaded this on YouTube. It touches on Pizzagate. You guys should go check it out. This is a funny look. I'll just play this.
No more Goy wars. Hey, no more Goy wars. If you're a Goy, you're my brother. If you are a nigga, you are a Goy, and you're my brother. Okay. That's what.
It's so funny watching a dude who's so obviously like such a nerdy little weasel say things like that. But I know like that's his whole thing, and it works. It's hilarious. But it is funny. But what he's saying is true though. Goys need to come together. Goys got to come together. Goy pride. We need to start a Goy pride trend.
That's what it is. That's on Goyim. And that's on Goyim. That's on Gentile. Anyway, we're moving on. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into that's your positive message. So, you know, leave these people alone, okay? Jews are trying to divide us. Jews are trying to sow discord. Jews want everybody to be fighting each other. And then they start clipping the coins. It's what they do. So, you know, we will forgive, and I say verily to you, forgive your fellow Goyim 7 times 70 times. Forgive your fellow Goyim 7 times 7, not 7, but 7 times 70 times. How many times are me and Jake Shields going to crash out? I don't know, 480? Forgive your fellow Goyim today. Forgive your fellow nigga today.
Put that on a t-shirt. Forgive your fellow Goyim today. All right, this is a fellow Aussie creator, actually. Alex Saunders. He runs a page called Nugget News. And we're really spreading it around here because, you know, we've gone to America. We've talked about Jews. We've talked about Christians. Now we're bringing it home to Australia. Here we go.
This one's going to make your blood boil. Prominent Sydney lawyer Mark Dennis, who went by the online alias Dark Menace, and I'll get to why that's important.
Dark Menace. I'll turn it up, sorry.
On charges of pedophilia at Sydney Airport returning from Cambodia, where he ran a charity for underprivileged children. The charity, Reasonable Cause, interesting name, right? Website has since been taken down, but with the Wayback Machine and a bit of digging, we can see that he began visiting Cambodia in 2006 and had been doing twice yearly trips since 2010. Now, where this gets interesting is that he authored several articles and papers on defending pedophiles under his own name, Mark Dennis, and that alias, Dark Menace.
He wrote what? Defending child sexual assault in the local court. March 2017 edition, Mark Dennis. Here's my phone number. And my email, which has my online handle as Dark Menace. What the fuck?
And that alias, Dark Menace. Now, with Satanism, you've always got to be looking out for inversion and wordplay and that type of thing. Now, in these papers, he describes the best tactics at doing this, building rapport before exploiting inconsistencies, challenging reliability, and discrediting these children who are the victims in all these crimes, right? Now, the prosecution opposed his release because of the serious nature of these charges after police seized several devices with images of children as young as 6 and found a Dropbox account that was linked to a dozen devices and fears that this could be accessed and deleted remotely. Now, despite all of this, he was granted bail on the provision of not being allowed around children unsupervised and only use the internet to contact lawyers and for banking. The entire system's corrupt. We've got to raise awareness of this, spread these videos around, demand justice, and together we can save the children. For all our full research, head over to Nuggets News.
I'm only laughing because like just listening to another person be like, everything's fucked. It's all a lie. They're all pedophiles. Like literally everyone is saying it. Like I was scrolling through X yesterday and I was just like, oh my God, the world is burning down. This is Liz Crokin kind of touching on Pizzagate again. We can probably skip that for now. This is actually something I did want to read because it's a bit more of a positive message and we probably are coming towards the end of the stream now. This is Michael Herrera, UFO whistleblower. He says, what is presently going on is a clear example of why we as citizens have to look out for ourselves. This is what our founding fathers believed in, stating our rights are by God and not for government to dictate. The government's power is only a perception. This is important. The American people dwarf them in numbers and must have a persistent nature to make the real changes. It's not going to come from people pretending to care about our rights and livelihood who act on our behalf, but play on the other team's behalf. Sorry, I'm retarded. A big storm is brewing, and I think the American people are going to be a check that the government can't cash very soon. And this, what he's saying here is like, what Epstein talks about like let the goyim sort it out in the real world. Like, this is how the Jew makes money. I'm quoting things in the Epstein files here that like, and I kind of go into a bit more depth about this in the video tomorrow, but like, the political system is a facade designed to keep the goyim looking and fighting with each other. That's seriously what it seems like. Like, it's designed to keep us, because when has anything ever changed? Like, over the last 20, 30 years, it's swung left, it's swung right in Australia, in America, whatever. But when has that ever actually had like the change that like the kind of change that elections are perceived to have? Like, when we vote and it's like a new leadership, a new government, we're going in a new direction. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're still going to end up in the same destination. You're just taking like a different road there, but it's all going the same way. That's never, ever changed. So like, that's what the system is. It's like, it's designed to make you think you're going somewhere new, but it's all heading down the same road. And that is this Zionist agenda. That's where it's going. Okay, this is a short clip. Diary of a CEO. Okay, let's listen to this. This guy is a CIA whistleblower.
Do you think Jeffrey Epstein was a spy?
Sorry.
Very strongly, he was a spy, yes.
Sorry, I had to crank it for that last one because it was so quiet. My apologies.
And who do you think he was working for?
The Israelis. I'm confident it was the Israelis.
Why?
Jeffrey Epstein is kind of the stereotypical example that they give you in training for what's called an access agent. This is a different kind of recruit. So, for example, if you're a foreign intelligence service and you want information, like close-in information from a former president, from the CEO of the biggest company in the world, from a member of the British royal family, you're not going to recruit these guys. You're not going to recruit Bill Clinton or Bill Gates or Prince Andrew. So you do the next best thing. You recruit somebody who has regular access to them. And that person that you recruit is going to need to make these people feel comfortable and appreciated. And so you give him plenty of money. So he has this house on an island, or he has the whole island. And maybe you bring in young girls, you get them in compromising positions, just in case you need to use what's called compromat, compromising pictures. We know now that Jeffrey Epstein's house on the island had video cameras, hidden video cameras in literally every room, including the bathrooms. Why?
What's that about? What do you got that there for, Jeffrey?
Why would he care what was going on unless it was to use that information against people? As I said, only the Israelis and the Russians use extortion as a motivator.
I mean, where is he? Where is he? I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that, bro. We would never do something like that. But the Israelis and the Russians, they would. They would, not us, though. We're good.
So would they have made Jeffrey Epstein rich?
Yeah.
In order to give him that access?
Yes.
How could they have done that?
Oh, that's easy. I mean, you do. I mean, governments are the only ones really that can launder money unfettered. And you can also do it through real estate, through fine art, and through horses. Those are the three easiest ways to launder money today.
You telling me horse racing's rigged? What?
Fine art, real estate, and racehorses.
You're telling me art's a scam as well, when people look like they basically just shit out a bottle of paint and it goes for $4 million, that it's a scam? What? This is crazy.
But presumably he would have spoken out at some point, no? He would have said something or...
No. But it would explain why he got a sweetheart deal in 2006. I mean, this is a guy that's been convicted of child sex crimes. And he gets 6 months of house arrest with an ankle bracelet? And we have mandatory minimums in this country. That's a 5-year mandatory minimum, first offense.
He definitely had some interesting power, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really watch this podcast very often, but I always find this guy funny, the host, like the way he talks. I don't know what it is. I just find him funny. It's like he's always speaking. It's like he asks questions like he's reading a poem. Okay, I think we're coming towards the end here, actually. Yeah, we are. Okay. That's good. That's a good thing. Well, let's watch this one. I'm curious to see what people say about this.
You are not ready for what I found in the Epstein files. Do you remember when I went on Dr. Phil and said that President Biden wasn't actually Biden and it was just someone in a face mask? Everybody laughed, including Dr. Phil.
But you think the president may not even be Joe Biden?
Yeah, I don't think that it probably is Joe Biden. If you look at Joe Biden from 10, 20 years ago and the Joe Biden now, I am not going to gaslight myself into believing that is the same person. Let's read this email.
Now, I will finish it and we will read this email, but I want to say there have been times and some videos that I don't know how to find them, but I'm sure surely you guys have noticed this too, of Joe Biden, where this motherfucker's face looked like it was made out of clay. Okay. And I can't give you the proof. I can't give you like the exact video, but I can tell you exactly what it reminds me of. And I'll show you a picture. This is obviously like a joke, but it's literally what I think of when I think of what Biden looked like sometimes. Hold on. I hope I don't get demonetized for this. Whatever.
What's the matter with your face? Is that a fake nose? Are you wearing chin putty? I don't have to listen to these wild allegations.
That's what Biden looks like, okay? Like he's walking out with putty on his face or something. The guy's face didn't look real. Let's continue.
Biden is not your current president. The mask malfunctions on Biden are getting worse each day on purpose. This will end badly for blank, who is posing with a clone on Facebook.
So this is literally in the Epstein files, by the way. I don't know if it's Epstein himself or who is saying this, but someone is saying Biden is not your current president. The mask malfunctions on Biden are getting worse each day on purpose. This will end badly for Redacted, who is posing with a redacted clone on Facebook, or effing clone on Facebook. The dude playing Biden ain't Biden. Real Biden was an evil, sick, angry man who blah, blah, blah. That's an actor with a effing mask. We've been over this 1,000 times. It's never going to change. Biden is shot in a 2019 firing squad. Okay, that's crazy. But again, I can't help but notice, like at the very start of this email, Biden is spelt correctly with an E. And then it starts going to Biden with an A. And it's just kind of like, you know, the guy who I just saw speaking in that interview seemed like an intelligent guy that maybe like who wouldn't at least change their spelling halfway through a paragraph. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that just, there seems like some kind of like a cognitive, like a dissonance there. Like something doesn't feel right about this. And again, maybe this isn't from Jeffrey, so I don't know. But just the grammar in some of these emails don't feel like they're coming from like high elite circles. But at the end of the day, I'm not in high elite circles, so I guess what the fuck would I know, really?
The dude playing Biden ain't Biden. Real Biden was an evil, sick, angry man who... That's an actor with a mask. We've been over this 1,000 times. It's never going to change. There's also mentions of crimes against humanity and other stuff in this email. I guess I wasn't so crazy after all, but I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
Yep, you're just a schizophrenic idiot, unfortunately. What else we got here? We won't watch that. It's a little bit long. We're going to wrap up the show. I'll show this just, well, the videos are relevant, but basically the caption of it, at least, says Zionists claim that criticizing Israel or opposing Zionism is anti-Semitic. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of Orthodox Jews gather in New York to declare that Zionism violates the Jewish faith and does not represent Judaism. So if that's true, that's good to see. That's what we need more of. We need people we need innocent people who are being implicated in this to be standing up and making it clear that that they're not involved in it, I think. And this is a short clip. We'll watch this one.
I think we need to take a step back and look at.
Sorry, I feel like that's loud.
I think we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture here, which is what was really going on with Epstein? Because Epstein was more than just a serial pedophile and a pervert. He was an incredibly powerful man who was, by the way, in multiple instances in the files that were just released, talking about his work for Mossad, talking about his work for the Rothschilds. I mean, it just goes on and on. And so can we discuss the blackmail operation that was taking place and which government that's a special ally of the United States put him up to it? And do we really want to be allies with a country that kidnaps young girls for rape just so they can have dirt on American politicians and control our foreign policy? That's the bigger underlying issue here that no one's talking about.
Yeah. That's your greatest ally. That's your greatest ally. What's that, Matthew Brown? Reality is a lie? Oh, thank you. And this is our last one that we'll look at. It's actually the last one. What does this got sent to Ask Reddit? What does Jeffrey Epstein mean when he uses the term goyim? Sorry, this post has been removed by the moderators. I wonder who runs Reddit. And Benjamin Grundy says some questions just need to be shut down immediately. Thanks for keeping us safe from illegal thoughts, Reddit. There you go. Kelsey says, I was trying to make a fun joke about the G word. YouTube won't let me in super chats. Really? You guys can't say goy in the super chat? That's crazy. Damn. Goy pride. Goy pride. Get it in. Raklark says Sulawesi before leaving Indo, ancient ruins. I don't know if I'll be able to get there, unfortunately. I am going to look at ancient ruins, though, in Java. That's what I'm doing. So I'm excited. And Proclavith, celebrating 2 months, says there are bodies buried on Zorro Ranch. The ranch hand is named Carlos. He told my good friend crazy shit he saw and admitted to being part of. Whoa. That's crazy, bro. That's wild. Doesn't surprise me, though. Zorro Ranch is a crazy place. And I saw someone saying that Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, where, you know, Epstein famously lived and had his victims, and where one of them saw a UFO, is interestingly situated near the Archuleta Mesa, which is where Phil Schneider and many other people have spoken about there being a deep underground military base, and also, if you listen to Phil Schneider, an underground alien base. And that if we're to believe that there is deep underground tunnel networks all throughout the United States, where Zorro Ranch is in comparison to this area, it's like, I guess you can make a beeline to anything underground, but it's situated pretty close. So make of that what you will. I think definitely we can all agree on Epstein Island, there was something going on underground. I don't think Jeffrey was just sleeping in that little blue hut. I don't think all the parties were happening in that little two square meter hut, okay? I think there was an elevator, and the entire thing was underground, obviously. So maybe that was the case at the ranch as well. Guys, thank you for hanging out tonight. It felt good to debrief the crazy shit going on in our world with you guys. It's honestly a little bit of therapy for me, and I hope it is for you guys as well. Like I said, we could maybe do another little deep dive into the actual files themselves tomorrow, or maybe just look at a few more things on X. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see how the day pans out. I don't want to make any promises. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all so much. I can't express it enough. All the love and support means a lot. So thank you all. Keep being good to each other. Be kind. Make sure you're touching grass, more important than ever right now. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.